Gateway to the World, B1 Plus, workbook by Anna Cole. Unit 1, Reading. 1. The Art of Good Conversation.
What makes a good conversation? In an experiment at Harvard University, people in pairs were told to get to know each other by interacting for 15 minutes through a chatting app. One person in each pair was told to focus on asking questions, either many questions, at least 9, or few, not more than 4. Participants never saw each other. After the conversation, they had to report how much they liked their partner. The results proved that partners who asked more questions were more popular. These partners were perceived as more responsive. In another study, published in 2015, Duke University researchers Karina Duffy and Tanya Chartrand found that outgoing people were more likable when they copied other people's body language. So if you want more friends, ask lots of relevant questions and try to read your partner's feelings by studying their movements.
2. What your shoes say about you.
Shoes can help give a first impression, but are they a good indicator of a person's personality? In a University of Kansas study, 63 students looked at a total of 208 photos of shoes to assess the personality characteristics of the shoe owners. They thought that old, worn-out shoes were worn by outgoing people. They also felt likeable people wear sensible, affordable shoes. People who wear expensive shoes, branded shoes, or shoes with pointed toes were considered less likeable. However, although participants accurately guessed 90% of the personality traits, they made mistakes. Attractive, well-kept shoes were associated with hard-working people, but this was not always the case. In addition, colourful, bright shoes didn't always belong to outgoing people. So, what kind of shoes are you wearing right now?
3. Are you a dog or a cat person?
Do dog people and cat people have different personalities? In a study at the University of Texas, 4,565 participants were asked to say if they were dog or cat people and answer a personality quiz. The study found that cat people are independent, artistic, and curious. They are also sensitive. A cat person needs a lot of affection, and they are sometimes anxious. The study said that dog people are energetic, outgoing, and likeable. Were there more dog people than cat people? 12% said they were cat people, 46% said they were dog people, and 28% of those asked said they were dog and cat people. 15% of those asked said they were neither dog nor cat people. So, what personality type are they?
Unit 1, Developing Vocabulary and Listening. Exercises 4 and 5. Speaker 1.
I'm the sort of person who loves knowing as much as possible about who I am. I definitely agree that personality tests are good at helping you get to know yourself better. Honestly, I'm a big fan because I'm a shy and sensitive person, and they help me think about what to do in situations that I find difficult. They can be pretty helpful in other ways too. I'm doing one that's helping me decide what I want to study at university.
Speaker 2.
Let's make one thing clear. The majority of tests online are fun, but I don't think you can say they're valid when it comes to identifying personalities. If the test says they are outgoing, people believe this result and try to become an outgoing person. People who do personality tests need a scientist to identify what they are really like. Let's face it, most of the people who write these tests aren't scientists. They often don't have any formal education in psychology, so I can't say I believe in them at all.
Speaker 3.
The internet is changing things, and you get millions of people doing personality tests, so suddenly there's a lot more data. All this research shows that people fall into big personality groups, like outgoing, hardworking, and open to new experiences. Personality tests aren't perfect, I agree. But there's more and more scientific research, which means they're getting better all the time. Of course, the results aren't 100% accurate, but I think they do help you find out more about who you are.
Speaker 4.
I don't have a lot of experience, but there's a personality test online that's quite famous that more than 2.5 million people do every year. I did it, and the result was that I was shy and serious. I did the same test again 6 months later, and guess what? The results changed completely. Suddenly, I'm the opposite. I'm funny and sociable. I think it depends on the time and the day you do the test. One day you are feeling confident, and another day you're feeling negative about yourself. However, some personality tests are better than others, so I think they work up to a point. I know a lot of companies use them to interview people for jobs, so I'm sure there are some good tests for identifying your personality type.
Speaker 5.
I think these kinds of tests are pretty unreliable. For a start, people aren't very good at describing their own behaviour. People think they are more likeable and attractive than they really are, and this can make a personality test highly inaccurate. It also depends if you give true answers. If you are doing a personality test for a job, for example, you'll obviously choose answers that say you're sensible and hardworking, not answers that show you are impractical and lazy.
Unit 1. Developing speaking. Exercise 2.
Hello, my name's Tony. You're Paco, aren't you?
Yes, I am. How did you know?
I'm Maria's friend.
Oh, yes. I remember now. She said that you'd be here today.
You're really good at hockey, aren't you? That's what Maria said.
Really? Well, I play a little, but I'm not mad about it.
Neither am I. You can play an instrument too, can't you?
Yeah, guitar. But what I really love is table tennis.
Great. We can play a game later. What are your other hobbies then?
Well, I'm really into films.
Really? What type of films do you like watching?
I'm keen on all types, but my favourite genre is comedy.
Now I remember. You act, don't you?
Yeah, I do. You don't know if there's a theatre club at school, do you?
Yes, there is. Do you know Alex Clark? He can tell you all about it.
No, I don't. You don't have his number, do you?
Unit 1. Developing speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 3.
You're Paco, aren't you? You're really good at hockey, aren't you? You can play an instrument too, can't you? You act, don't you? You don't know if there's a theatre club at school, do you? You don't have his number, do you?
Unit 2. Reading. Round the world on one wheel.
When he was 19, Ed Pratt began his epic 33,000-kilometre journey, setting off from the UK to ride across Europe, East Asia, Australia, New Zealand and the US on only one wheel. When Ed left school, He knew that he didn't want to go to university. He had unicycled since he was 16, after discovering a bike in his friend's garage. He had read that no one had unicycled around the world before, and he wanted to be the first to do that. Ed's grandfather had designed 2 special panniers on the front and back of the unicycle, and Ed carried his luggage in these, including a tent, a sleeping bag, and a cooking stove. Along the way, Ed managed to raise £300,000 for the charity School in a Bag, which provides education equipment for poor and vulnerable children. Ed had planned for a 2-year trip, but in the end, it took him 3 years and 4 months. Only 8 months into his journey, Ed spent 6 months in Kazakhstan after he was almost hit by a car on icy roads. During his trip, he made an amazing vlog where he described the physical and mental challenges of riding a unicycle and told stories about his trip. He said he had pushed his unicycle 50 miles on foot on a desert road and had had a dangerous wild dog outside his tent in Australia. Maybe his next adventure will be on 2 wheels.
Geocaching. A different way to travel.
When Radu Klapper set off from Denmark on a 7,800-kilometre bike tour, he was also going geocaching. Geocaching is an outdoor activity where people use an app and a GPS device to find boxes, called geocaches, in secret locations. He first got into geocaching in 2014, and he had always loved cycling. So, he decided to connect both things and planned a tour across 16 European countries. He sold commemorative geocoins for €10 each, and 2 companies helped to pay for his trip. His journey was going as he had expected, until his bike broke after 6,800 kilometres. Luckily, he found a bike shop where a mechanic fixed the problem and gave him a place to sleep. He carried camping equipment on his bike, but he stayed with other geocachers on his journey whenever he could. He posted his fun experiences on Facebook as he travelled, such as one night when he had to sleep at a bus stop. 5 months later, he completed his incredible tour.
Unit 2. Developing vocabulary and listening. Exercises 2 and 3. 1.
So, how have your transport habits changed over the last 5 years?
I'm afraid to say that a few years ago, I would travel a lot for work, and I used to prefer to travel first class if I could. My company would book long-distance flights, and I didn't used to worry about the effect air travel was having on the environment. Then one day, my daughter showed me an article on how travelling by plane affects the planet. I read that flying first class is 5 times worse than flying economy class because first class seats take up more space on the plane.
So you're saying you now fly on a low-cost airline?
Yes, mainly because they have more seats. If you have more people on a plane, it's more efficient in energy and fuel. So I decided to make a change. I still have to travel for work, but I told my company to book me flights with low-cost airlines, and I asked them to reserve economy class.
And have you changed any of your other travel habits?
Yes, I now travel with less weight because that means less energy is consumed. Planes don't need so much fuel. I used to pack heavy luggage and take a lot of unnecessary things with me. Now, I check in with only the things that I actually need, and when I can, I travel with hand luggage, which is cheaper and even more eco-friendly.
2.
And what about you? How have your transport habits changed over the last 5 years?
Well, we still travel a lot, but in a different way. We never used to travel first class, but we would often take a low-cost flight to get away for a weekend to a city in Europe, or we would get into our car and drive long distances. Nowadays, we get on a train or catch a bus or a coach. It's slower, I know, but for us, the journey is part of the holiday now, and we're enjoying it more.
Do you still travel long distances?
No, we try to keep the distances we travel as short as possible, and instead of going on several trips a year, we go on one long trip. We are on holiday for 3 whole weeks here in the UK right now, and we're about to set off on a train trip with our bikes. We used to go to cities full of people taking photos to post on social media, like Venice. It gets about 25 million tourists a year, you know. We would get back home feeling tired from going to places like that. Now we enjoy the beautiful British countryside as we cycle along and take photos of the new, exciting places we discover.
Unit 2. Developing Speaking. Exercises 2 and 3. Dialogue 1.
Good afternoon. Can I help you?
Yes, please. I'd like to buy tickets for the St Maur's ferry.
No problem. Let's see. They leave every 2 hours depending on the weather. The next one is at 10:15, so it's leaving in 10 minutes' time.
We'd like to go on that one, please.
Would you like a combo ticket to connect with another ferry in St Maur's?
No, thanks. We haven't got much time.
That's no problem. Remember that you can stay on board and do a round trip if you like.
Thanks. We'll do that. Can you tell me how long the journey is, please?
It's a 20-minute crossing.
OK, great. Could you tell me how much the tickets are, please?
Are you under 16?
Yes, we're both 15.
Well, that's 2 return child tickets then. They're £4.95 each, so that's £9.90 in total. Would you like to pay by card or in cash?
I'll pay in cash, please. Oh, one thing. Can we take our bikes?
No problem. There's enough space today and they're included in the fare. Just take the panniers off your bike before you board, please.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said take those bags off when you board the ferry, please. OK, here are your tickets. The ferry is boarding in Bay 5, so please wait there. Have a good crossing.
Thank you.
Dialogue 2.
Hi there. Can I help you?
Hello. We're hoping to camp on Dursey Island and we'd like tickets for the cable car. Could you tell me the time of the next cable car, please?
That's fine. You can camp there. If you hurry up, you can get on the next one. It's leaving in 10 minutes.
Oh, we were thinking about buying some fish and chips at the food van.
Well, if you miss the 12:45, there isn't another one for another hour.
OK, we'll go now. Can you tell me if I can take my dog?
Yes, you can, but only if he isn't afraid of heights.
Would you mind saying that again?
The cable car goes 250 metres over the sea. I hope your dog is okay with that.
I think he'll be all right. Could you tell me how long the trip is?
It takes 10 minutes.
He'll be fine. It's just a short trip. How much are the tickets?
Return tickets are €10 each, but they're valid for tomorrow if you're camping overnight. No fare for the dog. He's free of charge.
OK, that sounds great.
Right, so that'll be €20 in total. Are you paying by cash or card?
Card.
No problem. Just put your card in there. There you are. It's starting to rain, so why don't you go to the waiting room and we'll call you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Unit 2. Developing Speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 5. 1.
Could you write it down for me, please?
2.
Is it possible to pay by card?
3.
Could you print out the times for me?
4,
Can you tell me how much it costs?
5,
Which platform does it leave from, please?
Unit 3, Reading.
Have you ever been to New York? If you haven't been yet, or you're going back again, why not go on a guided tour to get to know the real city?
1. Eat a slice of history in New York.
If I say New York, what do you think about? Statue of Liberty, skyscrapers, and pizza? Scott's Pizza Tours offer a 4.5-hour tour on a big yellow school bus. Scott Wiener, or one of his professional pizza enthusiasts, starts with a history lesson on how pizza has changed over the years and why it is so popular. Then you visit the official birthplace of the New York pizza, Lombardi's. Italian immigrant Gennaro Lombardi began selling pizzas in a grocery store in Little Italy in 1905. It's moved location since then, but it's kept the name. Lombardi's is still one of the best NYC pizza restaurants. You also get to try 3 authentic NYC pizzas. Some recipes have passed from generation to generation. Scott, who has operated this tour since 2008, is a pizza fanatic. He has collected around 1,500 pizza boxes and has written a book called Viva la Pizza, The Art of the Pizza Box.
2. A breath of fresh air in Central Park.
If you want to get away from the crowds, go on a running tour in Central Park. It's changed a lot since the 1980s, when it was very run down. Now it's a world-famous place for a run. With Fit Tours NYC, you meet at the famous General Sherman statue at 59th Street and 5th Avenue and run for an hour. You rest at the impressive Bethesda Fountain. Here, your tour guide tells you all about the history of this monument and other well-known places, such as Strawberry Fields and where the legendary New York Marathon finishing line is. Fit Tours NYC have just won an award for the best running tour in the city.
3. Walk this way.
Alternatively, what about a tour to discover New York's history as the home of hip-hop? Deborah Harris has operated the amazing Hush Tours since 2000. One of her best tours is the Birthplace of Hip-Hop tour. You can find out how it all started from the people who were there. Hip-hop pioneers Curtis Blow and Grandmaster Caz are among the guides who will show you stars' homes and video locations. Stops on the 5-hour tour include 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, the apartment block where hip-hop started in 1973, and a breakdancing session in a Harlem park.
Unit 3. Developing vocabulary and listening. Exercises 3 and 4.
Hi, David. How's it going? I didn't realise you had gone to Scotland. How long have you been staying in Edinburgh?
I've been here for 8 weeks now.
And how have you been finding it?
Well, at first it was difficult, but now I'm really enjoying myself.
Why? What's changed?
I've settled in, I've made some friends, and of course my English is improving slowly.
Great. And what about Edinburgh? What's that like? Have you been enjoying it?
It's absolutely amazing. It's a really ancient and interesting place. I did some research before I came, but I've discovered it's got even more to offer as a city. And not just the city itself. You can do lots of day trips too.
What kinds of trips?
Well, for example, on Saturday, my host family took me to a town called Musselburgh. It's a really pretty place with a lovely beach. And the really fascinating thing is that it's packed with ice cream shops. Genuine Italian ice cream shops with totally delicious ice cream. It's because there's a big Italian community here.
Yum! I love ice cream. So, what about the host family? Would you recommend staying with one?
Well, I've really enjoyed the experience with my host family. They have a son who's my age, and we have a lot in common, like football and music.
Great! So you'd recommend it then?
Yes, I would. And of course, I've been attending classes too, since I got here.
Has that helped your English?
Definitely. It's also good for making friends. I go to a local language school, 15 minutes walk away. I've met lots of nice people.
Have you had any problems at all?
Not really, except that it's quite expensive. I have hardly any money left. Oh, and it's taken me a while to feel comfortable with the Scottish weather.
I can imagine.
It was absolutely freezing here on my second week. I had to buy an extra jumper and a jacket.
What about the language? Have you had any difficulties understanding the Scottish accent?
When I first arrived, it was really hard for me. I couldn't understand a word. However, after hearing it for a few weeks, it's become much easier. It depends on who's speaking, though.
Well, it's been really good talking to you, David. Thanks for all the information about Edinburgh. It sounds like a great place. I'd better go now. Enjoy your last fortnight.
Okay, speak to you soon. Bye.
Unit 3. Developing Speaking. Exercises 2 and 4.
In the photo, I can see a big city. I think it might be a city in China. It looks huge and busy. There's a sign on the top of a building and I can't see very clearly, but I think it's written in Chinese. In the foreground of the photo, there are lots of skyscrapers. In the middle of the photo, there are lots of modern buildings. They're probably offices where people are working, or maybe luxury flats and hotels. I like some of the houses at the bottom of the photo. They look old and are more traditionally Chinese. On the right of the photo, I can see blocks of flats and some houses. I can also see what looks like green areas, which is good. Perhaps they are parks and there are people walking and doing sport in them. On the right, I can also see a very busy road going over a bridge. It looks like a motorway leading into the city. This probably causes a lot of pollution. This is a major problem in megacities like this one. At the top of the photo, you can see that the air is filthy. In my opinion, city centres are too crowded. I don't really like them. I prefer green areas and smaller houses. I think this city would be a tiring place to live because it's noisy all the time. However, it's probably very lively and you could have a good time.
Unit 3. Developing Speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 3. 1.
I can see a big city.
2.
On the top of a building.
3.
At the bottom of the photo.
4.
It looks huge and busy.
5.
I think it would be a tiring place.
6.
On the right of the photo.
Unit 4. Vocabulary in Context. Exercise 3. 1.
A plum is a fruit with a purple, red or yellow skin. They can be boiled with sugar to make jam.
2.
For a traditional British Sunday lunch, roast beef or lamb in the oven.
3.
Germany produces more than 1,000 different types of sausages. Supermarket varieties of this meat product are processed in a factory.
4.
Semi-skimmed milk has only 1.5% cream, so it's not very fattening.
5.
A carrot is an orange vegetable that grows underground. You can eat them raw in salads.
6.
Crisps are made from potatoes, which are fried in hot oil.
Unit 4. Reading. Planting ideas for the future.
According to the World Resources Institute, we will need to increase food production by 70% by 2050 to feed the world's population. This means we need to make a dramatic change to our diets. But how? Experts say it won't be easy, but we can feed the world with a plant-based diet. We just have to rethink our traditional ideas about what we consume. First, we need to stop waste. Around 1.3 billion tonnes of food is thrown away every year. Much of that is fruit and vegetables that aren't the right shape or size. We need to learn to love these ugly fruit and vegetables. Many supermarkets now sell produce that is imperfect, but just as nutritious, at a huge discount. It's time to start buying. We also need to eat less meat. For some of us, this isn't an appealing idea, but animal-free meat is already big business. For example, the Impossible Burger is now sold in over 10,000 restaurants in the US. The recipe includes apple, pea, potato and rice, and it's become famous because when you cut it, plant-based blood comes out. Not all plant-based meat is healthy, however. It is often processed and high in salt, sugar and saturated fat. Nevertheless, plant-based meats do cut down on gas emissions from animals and excessive land and water use. Scientists can also improve what nutrients we get from the plants we already love to eat. The golden banana is an example of their ability to adapt plants to increase nutritional content. They put genes from a Papua New Guinean banana with high levels of provitamin A into the common variety of banana to make the diet in other countries more healthy. This kind of technique could be used to make many different kinds of plants more nutritious, and also to make foods like peanuts less dangerous to those with allergies. Plant-based meat is also on sale in supermarkets. It now has similar packaging to meat products with images of animals and is located next to meat instead of vegetarian products. This appeals to more consumers, and it's an important step in planting the idea that less meat can help save the planet. And it may be time to look elsewhere. Perhaps future food will come from the plants in the sea rather than on land. Seaweed is already very popular in Asia. Microalgae, tiny photosynthetic sea plants which contain 50 to 70% protein, could be the next big thing. They can be mixed into bars or used to make plant-based meat healthier and tastier. They don't require much water and can even be grown in deserts. So why aren't we buying them now? While algae grows easily on a small scale, producing large quantities is still a complex and expensive process. It's a technical problem that won't be solved very soon, but research continues. Will we be eating a more plant-based diet by 2050? What do you think?
Unit 4. developing vocabulary and listening. Exercises 3, 4 and 5.
I read an article the other day that said we should all get our protein from eating insects. I've never had any insects, but I wouldn't mind trying them. Apparently they're a nutritious and less fattening alternative to meat. I know insects are in many popular dishes around the world, and I love tasting new things. I'm happy to cut down on how much meat I eat if it's healthier for you.
Personally, I think all these facts about food shortages are unconvincing. I have faith in technology. I think science can solve the other problems too. We'll soon be growing our food in laboratories. And if we're talking about water, the Earth is 70% water. I know most of it is salt water, but with technology, we can use this water or make more. I think that in 50 years' time, millions of people will be drinking man-made water.
This is a big problem, and it's just going to get worse as the world is becoming more and more overcrowded. Currently, 1/3 of the world's farmland is used for growing animal feed, not human food, and the population will have increased to 9 billion in 25 years. We have to reconsider how we live our lives. I think it's important for people to get used to eating plant-based food now, before the situation gets more serious.
I'm aware that something needs to change, but for me it's not a question of everyone suddenly becoming vegetarian. It's healthy to eat meat and fish. I'm a meat lover, and I always have been. And so are the rest of my family. We're not going to stop eating our favourite meals. If everyone suddenly stopped, it would be a disaster for the global economy, and millions of people around the world would be unemployed. I really think there has to be a better solution to the problem.
Unit 4. Developing speaking. Exercises 2 and 3.
Now, I want you to look at these 6 main courses. Imagine that you're organising a meal in a restaurant for a large group of your friends. The restaurant has offered a special price if you pre-select 2 main courses for your guests to choose between. Which of these do you think are the best choice for your meal?
OK, what do you think about choosing tacos? Everyone loves that kind of food, don't they?
I see what you mean. Mexican food's popular, but I'm not sure. The way I see it, that's more of a starter, and personally, it wouldn't be my favourite option. I'm not that keen on them. Maybe we should choose something else. What do you think?
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe we could choose the pasta with tomato sauce and meatballs? Everyone enjoys well-cooked pasta and big, juicy meatballs.
That's not a bad idea, but is it a bit boring? As I see it, pasta is something we eat all the time, though the meatballs do sound good. Why don't we choose something a bit different, like the seafood paella? That sounds delicious.
It does, but I'm not sure that everyone will want seafood. Some people have allergies, so it could be complicated. I think that some people will love it, but others won't be so happy with that choice. In my opinion, we should choose the chicken curry.
That's a good idea. Spicy chicken is something different, and rice is always popular.
I agree. OK, so we've decided on one main course. What about the other one?
Well, we said no to the pasta with the meatballs, didn't we? So why don't we choose the lasagna? Italian food isn't very unusual, but it is tasty.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, I've just remembered something important.
What's that?
We haven't chosen anything for vegetarians. The lasagna has meat in the sauce. Why don't we choose the chicken curry or the lasagna and, as a vegetarian option, the bean soup?
That's true. I think the chicken is the best. Why don't we choose the chicken curry and the bean soup? It's not very spicy and is probably really nutritious too.
OK, I think we've made the right choices.
Thank you.
Unit 4. Developing Speaking. Exercise 4. 1.
What do you think about choosing tacos?
2.
In my opinion, we should choose the chicken curry.
3.
I see what you mean. They're popular.
4.
Yes, you're probably right.
5.
As I see it, pasta is something we eat all the time.
6.
That's not a bad idea, but is it a bit boring?
7.
Why don't we choose something a bit different?
8.
The way I see it, that's more of a starter.
Unit 4. Developing Speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 5. 1.
Bit. Beat.
2.
Cheap. Chip.
3.
Live. Leave.
Unit 5. Reading. Wake up to better learning.
If you sometimes feel sleepy in class, you're probably having too many late nights. A review of worldwide studies from the last decade by Sleep Medicine shows that 53% of teenagers get 2 or 3 hours less sleep than they need on school days. Getting to bed early is hard with all the things you have to do. But what are the consequences of not sleeping enough? A lack of sleep means students find it difficult to pay attention in class. Exams, tests and homework seem harder. You're also more likely to have sports accidents and take silly risks. It's clear that teenagers need to get more sleep. But when and where? According to the National Sleep Foundation, a short sleep can improve your overall performance at school and in sports. A study at NASA on military pilots and astronauts found that focus and concentration rose by 34% after a 26-minute nap. A series of studies on the ideal nap showed that the optimum time is between 10 and 30 minutes. A longer nap can have a negative effect on performance. In addition, you should have a nap at around the same time every day, and it shouldn't be close to your bedtime because that can interfere with regular sleep. Some colleges and universities have found the perfect solution for sleepy students. They have introduced futuristic-looking nap stations in libraries, health centres and other spots on campus, which students can reserve. At the University of Miami, you can even lie down in the dark with soft music and lights. Students enter these comfortable and safe nap stations and set an alarm. They can't talk or use technology, and they mustn't sleep for longer than 30 minutes. Students say they feel ready to study again when the nap is over, and that they are more productive. According to the American Psychological Association, if you sleep after learning something, your brain has time to process the new information and remember it better. It must be a good idea, because employees at companies such as Google and Nike are allowed to nap during work time. Do you think you might benefit from a nap in the middle of the day? Why not ask if you can try it out at your high school?
Unit 5. Developing Vocabulary and Listening. Exercise 2.
Engineer. Librarian. Manager. Photographer. Physicist. Politician. Professor. Psychologist. Researcher. Trainee. Trainer. Translator.
Unit 5. Developing vocabulary and listening. Exercises 4 and 5.
Hey, Jake. You're very quiet. What are you doing?
I'm reading about the Brit School for Performing Arts and Technology. I'd love to go there if I had the chance. Did you know that stars like Adele and Tom Holland went there?
Really? Wow. It sounds like a school in a TV show. Where is it?
It's in South London. It's different from other drama schools because it's free to attend. It sounds perfect for me.
If you apply, you'll get a place. You're a great musician.
Thanks, Toby. But there's a lot of competition. If you don't do well at the interview, you don't get a place.
How big is it? Are you the right age to get in?
I think so. It says the age range is from 14 to 19 years old. I'm 13 now, so that's perfect. And there are about 1,400 students in total from all backgrounds.
So, does that mean if you went there, you'd be famous? Can I have your autograph now, please?
Haha, very funny. They've got a wall with photos of all their most famous students. If my dream comes true, I'll be one of them. They'll teach me what I have to know to get to the top. A lot of students go on to do creative degrees and then find work in the creative industries when they leave. But, of course, not everyone becomes famous.
Sure. So, if you got in, you wouldn't have to do ordinary school subjects anymore, right?
No, you still have to do normal school subjects too. There are 5 main subjects: maths, science, English language, English literature, and personal professional development. Then there are 3 subjects you can choose from. Things like history, Spanish, and sociology. And finally, there is 1 special subject, which can be something like music, dance, theatre, or film and media.
Oh, so it isn't a music school then?
No, but if you go there, you can study with producers, songwriters, games makers, and makeup artists too. I could choose dance, theatre, film, or visual arts.
It sounds great. Is there something you're not sure about?
Well, I read that it's very competitive, but people say it's easy to make friends. You work in teams a lot.
I'm sure you'd meet people you like. And don't forget, you've got me.
Of course, Toby. It doesn't matter which schools we go to. We'll always stay in touch. Oh, did I tell you about the timetable? They have a shorter day on Friday. They start at 8:45 and finish at 1:15.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. I'll apply too if you tell me how to do it.
You have to do an interview, but they also look at your exam grades if they think you've got talent. If you do really, really well, they'll select you. It's not as easy as you think, you know.
Oh, I ought to practice my guitar and do my homework then.
Unit 5. Developing speaking. Exercises 2, 3 and 4.
In this presentation, I'm going to talk about world schooling. This is when parents take their children out of normal school and travel the world. World schooling is becoming more popular every year, and there are now more than 50,000 members in the World Schoolers Facebook group. I'll start my presentation by giving some of the arguments in favour of world schooling. First of all, families don't have to follow normal school rules and routines. They can set their own routines and work habits and spend their time developing their relationship as a family. Secondly, world schooling can offer incredible learning experiences. World schooling families visit foreign countries, learn new languages, and experience other ways of life. For instance, if you were interested in mountains, you could climb Mount Kilimanjaro, as well as learn about the culture and language in Tanzania. Another point in favour of world schooling is that children become more self-confident and learn to solve problems in the real world. Furthermore, the internet gives families access to all the learning materials they need to study what they want when they want. However, there are many arguments against world schooling. First of all, your parents are your teachers, and this could be a negative thing. For example, if your parents don't know a lot about science, you won't learn as much as you do at school. Secondly, it could also be difficult to get into college or university if you don't have the right diplomas and qualifications. It's also true that there are some social difficulties. It's great spending time with your family, but it's also important to get to know people without your parents. Everyone ought to have some time away from their family. Last but not least, on some blogs I visited, I found out that world schoolers can feel lonely. They say it's difficult to make friends because you are always travelling. In short, I think there are some good reasons why world schooling is a great idea. You see the world and learn amazing things. But overall, I think there are more disadvantages than advantages. Personally, I would miss my friends, and I don't think I'd like to spend all my time with my family.
Unit 5. Developing Speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 6. 1,
Could, should, would,
2,
mustn't,
3,
no,
4,
climb,
5,
science,
6,
foreign,
7.
ought,
Unit 6. Reading. Techno.
For every success story, there are hundreds of products that have failed. Let's look at what went wrong for these companies and try to learn a lesson or two.
A. In too much of a hurry.
Samsung's Note 7 was marketed as the best phone ever made in a race to compete with Apple's iPhone. However, Samsung soon recalled its product after dozens of Note 7s exploded. It then got worse. Several replacement phones caught fire, and a Southwest Airlines plane was evacuated when a phone began smoking. 5 days later, production was discontinued, and the company lost billions of dollars. Several months of internal investigations followed. A design fault was found to have caused the phone's overheating. Following this incident, processes to improve product safety were included in the testing phase. The investigation showed how important this testing phase is, even when there is pressure to bring to market new and exciting devices. A series of successful products have since restored customers' faith in this South Korean giant's reputation.
B. A good product, but not smart enough.
Microsoft's SPOT, or Smart Personal Object Technology, provided information to electronic devices over FM radio waves at a time when there was no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. The first SPOT devices were smartwatches, made by international watch companies such as Fossil and Swatch. The SPOT watch received weather information, news headlines, and short messages, and, as a unique feature, functioned as an independent, standalone device. But you couldn't send messages. The product soon disappeared from the market as mobile phones were rapidly becoming smarter and the smartwatch became a smartphone accessory. Although it was outcompeted, you can see many of its design features in current watches. So not all was lost.
C. In the right place, but at the wrong time.
The Coda, a four-door electric car, was a product ahead of its time. It was manufactured by Chinese automotive company Hafei for China's domestic market. The company redesigned it with a better battery than other electric vehicles at the time to sell on the international market. However, the electric car market hadn't taken off yet. Coda wasn't financially stable enough to wait for the market to grow, and, crucially, the car's body design did not appeal to consumers. It didn't break the negative stereotype of the ugly electric car at the time. Coda didn't have enough funds to reinvest in a wow design like Tesla, and the Coda was removed from the market.
Unit 6. Developing vocabulary and listening. Exercises 3 and 4.
Welcome back, John, to our series Famous Inventors. Who are you talking to us about in today's show?
Thanks, BB. Well, by popular demand, I'll be talking about Nikola Tesla today.
Tesla? Has today's show got something to do with electric cars and billionaires?
Yes, it has, but we'll come to those later. Let's start with Nikola Tesla, a Serbian-American scientist whose inventions enabled modern-day power.
It sounds like we owe him a lot. Are you saying that we wouldn't be powering our homes the way we are now if it weren't for Tesla?
Exactly. Each time you come home and turn on the lights, you should think of Nikola Tesla. But the funny thing is, when we talk about electricity, who do people think of?
Thomas Edison, I would say.
That's right. But Tesla was central to how the technology developed and how it was used. He also invented technology that could send and receive wireless signals. This technology is the basis of many of the electrical goods we have in our homes today. But he was unable to get funding and was beaten to the invention of radio by the Italian Guglielmo Marconi.
So, tell us more about Tesla, John.
Well, he was born in the Austrian Empire in 1856. He was a genius at school, spoke 8 languages and had a photographic memory. He moved to France and started working in one of Edison's international companies, but he wanted to work with Edison himself. So, in 1883, Tesla emigrated to the United States, where he started working for Thomas Edison in New York. Edison had already perfected the light bulb.
So, they worked together on electricity.
At first, Tesla worked on designs for Edison, but the two geniuses soon separated. Edison thought Tesla's inventions were impractical, and Tesla left Edison's company 2 years later. Luckily, an American businessman and inventor called George Westinghouse helped Tesla start his own company, where he developed the first modern alternating current, AC, motor. Edison and Tesla became rivals in a war of currents.
Rivals in a war of currents? That sounds violent, doesn't it?
Well, it was a war. There was a battle of ideas over whose electrical system would power the world. Tesla's alternating current, AC, system, or Edison's direct current, DC, electric power.
And whose idea won?
Tesla's. It was more efficient than Edison's direct current. It made money and was bought by more people. It is now used in almost everyone's home, in every building and on every street. Edison got permission for his company, General Electric, to use AC in its projects.
So, why don't we know more about Tesla?
Tesla was more famous than Edison at one point, But he was never interested in money, only inventions. Many people ended up taking a number of his ideas and patenting them to make money themselves. In 1895, a fire in Tesla's New York lab destroyed equipment and thousands of notes and plans. He died poor and lonely, without the recognition he deserves.
But now everyone knows the name. Which brings us back to electric cars and the billionaire Elon Musk, doesn't it, John?
That's right, BB. Elon Musk named his electric car company after the great inventor, and now Tesla is the best-known make of electric cars. So it's Musk who has renewed interest in this genius. Oh, and a film about the battle with Edison called The Current War that was released recently.
I hadn't realised how important Tesla was.
Yes, there's a Tesla museum in Belgrade in Serbia, but a surprising number of people in the rest of the world haven't even heard of him. However, there are plans for a museum to honour him in the United States too. The Tesla Science Center Museum will be built on the historic site of the Inventor's Laboratory on Long Island, New York.
Well, it's good to know that finally the importance and genius of Nikola Tesla is being recognised. Fascinating stuff. Thanks, John, for being with us today. Remember to join us next week when we'll be talking about Ada Lovelace.
Unit 6. Developing Speaking. Exercise 2.
To start with, in both of the photos you can see teenagers. Although in the second photo, some of the people look a bit older. Both pictures show people who are relaxed and enjoying themselves in a living room. I think that these people are all watching TV, and I can see a sofa and a table. Another thing the photos have in common is that the people seem very interested in what they're doing and laid back. It must be the weekend or a holiday. However, there are several differences between the photos. One key difference is that in the first photo, the boy's watching TV alone, whereas in the second photo, the teenagers are in a social situation. Another important difference is that in the first photo, the boy's eating and drinking, while in the second photo, there's no food or drink. I think the people in the second photo could be watching a football or rugby match because it looks like they're celebrating a goal. The boy on his own could be watching a comedy as he is smiling. Another way in which the situations differ is that watching TV on your own is not as noisy as watching TV with other people. Personally, if I had to choose between the situations, I'd prefer the second. That's because it looks like they're having a good time. Watching TV on your own isn't as much fun as spending time with other people.
Unit 6. Developing Speaking. Exercise 3. 1.
To start with, in both of the photos, you can see teenagers.
2.
Another thing the photos have in common is that the people seem very interested in what they're doing.
3.
One key difference is that in the first photo, the boy's watching TV alone, whereas in the second photo, the teenagers are in a social situation.
4.
Another important difference is that in the first photo, the boy's eating and drinking, while in the second photo, there's no food or drink.
5.
Another way in which the situations differ is that watching TV on your own is not as noisy as watching TV with other people.
Unit 6. Developing speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 5. 1,
In both of the photos, young people are watching television.
2,
You can tell it's more fun because they are cheering and laughing.
3,
One key difference is that the boy is alone.
Unit 7. Reading. Get on your bike and ride.
Beth Shriver is a BMX cyclist who competes internationally for Great Britain. She was 9 years old when she first got into BMX. One day, her brother invited her along to the BMX club where he trained. That day changed her life. With a lot of hard work and practice, she started to win medals and trophies. BMX cycling is an extreme sport that demands strength, speed, and technique. You have to stand up, turn, and jump on lightweight bikes that have a smaller frame than ordinary ones. Apart from practicing off-road, on dirt tracks, Beth does a lot of training at the local gym, lifting weights to increase her leg power. Her determination is paying off. 2017 was the year when she won the Junior BMX World Championships, and in 2018 she won the BMX Supercross World Zolder Cup. However, it hasn't been an easy ride. Extreme sports are risky, and Beth has suffered serious injury. But perhaps her biggest challenge was losing her funding in 2016. When no British women qualified for the Rio Olympics, British Cycling and UK Sport unexpectedly decided to support only male riders for the next Olympic Games. To get enough points for Olympic qualification, Beth needed to win at international competitions. Now she needed to find a way to pay her expenses so that she could continue to compete. So she started a part-time job as a teaching assistant and set up a crowdfunding campaign. That got her through. Recently, she received sponsorship and she's heading for great success, so watch out for Beth Shriver. David Schnabel is another cyclist whose skills are incredible, but in a very different type of cycling. It was David's father who introduced him to artistic cycling. It's a sport in which you perform gymnastics on a customised bike. Athletes compete in 5-minute rounds set to music on a special wooden court. A panel of judges gives scores on difficulty, grace, and style in 30 moves called figures. David, an 8-time world champion, has travelled the world to show off his skills. Many people have never seen an artistic cyclist before, although its first world championship was in 1956. It was a Swiss-American called Nicholas Kaufmann who made this sport popular in 1888. This circus artist performed during breaks at cycling races, which attracted huge numbers of fans at that time. You need great balance and concentration to do this sport, as well as hours of training. Although there are tricks which can be mastered in a week, many take up to 5 years. No doubt Beth and David would enjoy cycleball too. Cycleball is a team sport that combines football and cycling. Unlike traditional sports, extreme sports aren't always well known in every country, but cycleball is experiencing a rise in popularity in Europe and Japan. The rules are similar to football, except you can only use your bike to pass and shoot the ball into the opposing goal. A special bike is used. You don't need acrobatic skills, but you do need a lot of strength and coordination. So, what are you waiting for? Get on your bike and ride, any way you like.
Unit 7. Developing vocabulary and listening. Exercises 4 and 5.
Well, I used to work out, but then I got an ankle injury last spring while I was warming up, would you believe it? So I decided to take up a new sport. One day, a friend, whose neighbour is a yoga instructor, told me about anti-gravity yoga. We decided to try it together, partly because we thought it would be fun to do something different. Anti-gravity yoga is yoga, but upside down for a lot of the time. You do the moves hanging from the ceiling like a bat in a long scarf-like hammock. This helps the blood move around the body. It's good for your heart as well as your core muscles, which are the deeper muscles in the middle of your body. It's also very relaxing and helps your body to release happy hormones. You come out feeling relaxed yet energetic. And, of course, it's weightless, which means it's not a problem for ankles or other joints. This type of yoga has many of the same positions as normal yoga, but it is also a little like dance and acrobatics. It started in the US a few years ago and is now becoming popular in Australia and Europe too. It's a great way to help your whole body.
I took up running backwards or reverse running about 6 months ago, and I have never felt so fit. Basically, both my dad and my sister had started doing it, and I wanted to join in. At first, I couldn't keep up with them at all. It's like forward running, but you run backwards. It's not so easy at the start, and it's a good idea to run with someone initially so that you don't fall over. You soon get much faster though. It's great for balance and general fitness, as well as stamina, which is necessary for more serious athletes. It also exercises different muscles from forward running. Running backwards is also better for your knees, where much of your body weight falls in forward running. Even 100 years ago, there were some athletes who used reverse running to improve their overall fitness. Recently, it's become more popular again. A man called Robert Stevenson, who is an expert in reverse running, recommends practicing in an open space where you don't need to worry about falling over. So, for example, in a park or on the beach. That's common sense, really. Running backwards in town, where there are pedestrians, roads and so on, can be very stressful. It's important to warm up really carefully too. If you're thinking of taking up a sport which is good for overall fitness, I'd recommend it. And don't give up. If you carry on, you'll find it gets easier.
Unit 7. Developing Speaking. Exercises 2, 3 and 4.
Why don't you start the discussion, Harry?
OK, Sally. Well, I think it's clear that extreme sports are much riskier than traditional sports, like, say, basketball or baseball. I mean, you can go up to 40 miles an hour if you're skateboarding or snowboarding. That's just too fast for someone under 16.
Well, I agree to an extent, but I think extreme sports help young people learn when to take risks and teach them about danger.
I totally disagree with you there, I'm afraid. Extreme sports lead to extreme injuries.
I see what you mean, but accidents and injuries are part of any sport. And daily activities can also be dangerous.
I'm not sure that's true. In traditional sports, like rugby or karate, for example, there are a lot of regulations. In extreme sports, there are fewer rules, and anything can happen.
You've got a point. But they learn how to protect themselves by listening to a coach and wearing protective gear, like a good helmet.
I disagree. I also think parents shouldn't encourage their children to take up extreme sports. Young teenagers can express themselves and build up their confidence and stamina in traditional sports. They can try extreme sports when they're older.
I totally disagree with you on that point. I think young teenagers should be allowed to decide for themselves. Traditional sports like basketball mean a lot of coaching, rules, pressure and competition. Extreme sports are all about expressing yourself as an individual.
I'm not sure that's true. I think young teenagers often take up an extreme sport just because they saw it on the internet, or to shock their friends.
I take your point, but extreme sports like surfing and rock climbing are more popular than ever, and young teenagers want to experience these new and exciting challenges. If parents are frightened and overprotective, young teenagers could lose interest in sports altogether.
Unit 7. Developing Speaking. Exercise 5.
I think extreme sports are much riskier than traditional sports.
I agree to an extent, but I think extreme sports help you learn when to take risks.
I totally disagree with you there, I'm afraid. Extreme sports are too risky.
OK, I take your point, but everyday activities can also be dangerous.
I'm not sure that's true. The risks are far higher in extreme sports.
You've got a point. However, if you wear protective gear, it's less of a risk.
I see what you mean, but maybe we'll just have to agree to disagree.
I think we can agree on one thing, though. Any sport is better than no sport.
Yes, I totally agree with you on that point.
Unit 7. Developing Speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 6. 1,
Extreme,
2,
immature,
3,
underestimate,
4,
interesting,
5.
regulations.
Unit 8. Reading. Who's the artist?
The first realistic artificial intelligence, AI robot artist, had her first solo exhibition of paintings and sculptures called Unsecured Futures in Oxford in June 2019. Ada, modelled and named after British computer pioneer Ada Lovelace, uses cameras in her eyes to scan her surroundings and a robotic arm to sketch unique, abstract line drawings. The real novelty about Ada is her humanoid appearance, created by the same company that designed the robots in the HBO show Westworld. Some people say that Ada looking human makes it easier for the public to relate to Ada as the artist. It also helps us understand humanity's relationship with technology. The gallery has made $1.2 million from art made by the android. But is Ada an artist in her own right? Some critics pointed out that researchers had collaborated in writing the code and had guided Ada's perceptions of the world, but buyers like the surprising and unusual style. There have been other art-making AI robots before her, as well as many experiments with AI art. Portrait of Edmund Bellamy was sold for $432,500 in 2018. Many critics said at the time that it was a temporary trend that was more about marketing than art. But computer creativity is not just restricted to painting. AI is also capable of composing music, such as the song Not Easy, co-created by Grammy-winning music producer Alex da Kid. In an interview, Alex said that Watson, the AI unit, had listened to millions of spoken texts and thousands of songs to provide him with the most popular themes and tunes. AI has also entered the world of poetry. Pablo Hebas, professor at the Complutense University of Madrid, has developed WASP, a software which composes its own verses inspired by the work of a human poet. In all of the previous works, some kind of human collaboration exists in relationship with AI. However, there are two cases where art is created by AI independently. Memories of Passers-by 1, by Mario Klingemann, a German artist, projects images of faces distorted by algorithms. The interesting thing is that the faces have never existed. Secondly, Simon Colton, professor at the University of London, has designed the painting fool, which classifies millions of internet images according to emotions, such as joy or panic, and creates digital works. Should we worry about AI robots taking over all art forms? Aaron Hertzman, professor at the University of Toronto, doesn't think we should worry. He sees new technology as another tool that artists can use. He believes computer creativity will extend the limits of human imagination, and that could produce a whole new art form.
Unit 8. Developing vocabulary and listening. Exercises 4 and 5.
Welcome to this week's podcast. Today, we're with Jess Baker to talk about one of the most popular artists today, Banksy. Jess, why don't you remind us all just why Banksy is so well known?
Thanks, Mark. Well, Banksy is famous for his graffiti. His paintings are all over Britain on walls and bridges, as well as in cities around the world. The Banksy effect sparked off a global interest in urban art, probably because his artwork is so immediate and easy to explain.
He's been around for decades, but his popularity's still growing, isn't it?
That's right. Banksy's works started showing up on walls in the 1990s, but his images are instant hits. As soon as one appears, you see it all over the internet.
He keeps his identity secret from the media, doesn't he?
Absolutely. In fact, very little is known about him. We believe he was born in Bristol around 1973, but he's never appeared on TV or in any photograph. Not revealing his identity has kept people talking about him too.
So, how would we know a Banksy if we saw one? What's his style?
Well, he stopped signing his graffiti after a while, but the stencil letters he uses to make critical comments about what's going on in the world are iconic. His art usually has highly recognisable images like rats, children, police officers, and his colour choice is often black and red against white.
His graffiti style of art draws a lot of contradicting opinions, doesn't it?
That's right. Some people argue that spray painting walls is an act of vandalism. They think he is just damaging buildings. But there are many more who see him as one of the top artists of our times.
What was that story about a painting that was sold in 2018?
Girl with Balloon? It was from one of Banksy's best-known series of artwork, and it was sold at Sotheby's for over £1 million. But immediately after it was sold, half the painting self-destructed. Thanks to a device that Banksy had hidden in the picture frame, over 50% of the painting was cut into thin strips. That really shocked the art world.
And I imagine it was shocking for the person who bought the painting too.
Exactly. But then Banksy changed the name of the painting to Love is in the Bin. The buyer kept it, and it's now worth a lot more than she paid for it.
Which makes us ask questions about what art is worth and Who owns art?
Yes, very interesting questions in today's world, Mark.
Thanks, Jess, for talking to us today about such a controversial and interesting artist. Well, let's see where and when Banksy's next piece will appear.
Unit 8. Developing Speaking. Exercise 2.
Our teachers usually organize school trips and workshops in the third term, and because we'd been studying cinema in our art class, the school trip was to the Museum of the Moving Image. Our teacher said we'd learn a lot about the creative and technical process of making film and television, and we'd understand more about all the hard work that goes into it. Our class met at school at 9 o'clock, and we took the subway to the museum. At first, I was a little bit disappointed because the museum looked quite small, but our teacher explained that in the past, it had actually been a real movie studio. When we first entered, we met a museum educator who took us on a guided tour of the main exhibition. To start with, the guide explained the technical history of filmmaking. It was interesting enough, but then we went on to the interactive exhibits, which were totally amazing. We made animated films and a video, we dubbed our own voices onto classic film, and we chose different soundtracks for famous movie scenes. It was great fun. After that, we went up to the third floor where there was an impressive collection of TVs, microphones, and cameras from the past up to now. We could play some of the vintage video games that were still working. It was absolutely brilliant, like going back in time. Next, we did a workshop where we learned about game design. Then we divided into teams and practiced using programming software. After 2 hours, we had built our own ping-pong-style video game. Finally, we all went to the cafe on the first floor, which was next to a lovely little gift shop. While we were having a snack and a drink, our teacher asked us what we'd enjoyed most. The majority of us agreed that our favorite thing was the movie-making part. I said that although I hadn't thought I was going to like it, in the end, I'd had a great day. In fact, it made me realize that I'd love to work in film production when I finish school.
Unit 8. Developing Speaking. Exercise 4. 1.
At first, I was a little bit disappointed, but our teacher explained it had been a real movie studio.
2.
To start with, the guide explained the technical history of filmmaking.
3.
After that, we went up to the third floor, where there was an impressive collection of TVs, microphones, and cameras.
4.
Next, we did a workshop where we learned about game design.
5.
Then we practiced using programming software.
6.
After 2 hours, we had built our own ping-pong-style video game.
7.
Finally, we all went to the cafe on the first floor.
8.
I said that although I hadn't thought I was going to like it, in the end, I'd had a really great day.
Unit 8. Developing Speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 5. 1.
Afterwards.
2.
At first.
3.
In the end.
Unit 8. Developing Speaking. Exercise 6. 6 top tips for describing past events. 1.
Use a wide variety of narrative tenses: past simple, past continuous, past perfect.
2.
Give details about where and when it happened, who you were with, etc.
3.
Say how you felt about the experience. Was it positive or negative?
4.
Use expressive words with modifiers to make the story more exciting. For example, totally amazing, absolutely brilliant.
5.
Use a variety of adjectives to describe things or places. For example, a lovely little gift shop.
6.
Join sentences using linking words or phrases to show a sequence of actions or events. For example, at first, then, next.
Unit 9. Reading. Singing the changes with national anthems.
It's usually at the Olympic Games, when gold medalists step onto the winner's podium, that we get a chance to hear other countries' national anthems. Some may be dull and others glorious, but they have all inspired more people than any other type of music you can name. Anthems originated in Europe. Holland's 16th century Het Wilhelmus is the world's oldest anthem, followed by the UK's God Save the Queen in the early 18th century. The UK anthem's melody became popular and was adopted by countries such as Denmark, Germany, and Russia, each using their own lyrics. Later, these countries decided they must have a tune of their own, although Liechtenstein still shares the UK's melody. Many countries have changed their anthem at least once, sometimes to strong opposition. A proposal to change the words in Canada's anthem from sons to the more inclusive us was defeated several times before a bill finally made it law in 2018 under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Greece had the longest national anthem in the world with 158 verses until it was finally cut down to 2. Now, Uruguay's anthem, which is more than 5 minutes long, is the world's longest. Nepal changed its anthem when it turned from a kingdom into a republic. The anthem is now a happy pop song that praises its people. In 1997, South Africa combined its former national anthem, which it had had under apartheid, with Nkosi Sikelel' Afrika, a more inclusive anthem of resistance. Each verse is sung in a different language: Xhosa, Zulu, Sesotho, Afrikaans, and English. It must be one of the few anthems that start in one tune and end in another, and the only one that is sung in 5 languages. Many anthems aren't as old and traditional as you may think either. The American national anthem was not confirmed as official until 1931. It could have taken longer if it hadn't been for a cartoon in 1929, which pointed this out. 5 million people petitioned Congress until the Star-Spangled Banner became the official anthem. The American anthem must be one of the most difficult to sing. Christina Aguilera managed to hit the high notes when she sang it at the 2011 Super Bowl in Dallas, Texas. However, she couldn't have foreseen the public's anger when she got the words wrong. This could never happen with the Spanish national anthem. It's one of only 4 in the world that has no official lyrics, so no problem there.
Unit 9. Developing vocabulary and listening. Exercises 3 and 4.
Welcome back to another week of National Treasures. Sam, what interesting story have you found to tell us this week?
Well, Jane Austen has been in the news recently, and for most of us, she is a national treasure.
I'm a lifelong fan of Jane Austen, and I've read all her books. So I'm gripped already.
Jane Austen is one of our most famous writers, and her books have been made into Hollywood films and television series. She died many years ago, in the 19th century, and curiously, very few of her personal items have survived. So when her ring was sold at auction recently, it was sensational news.
Can you describe the ring to our listeners?
Well, it's simple in its design, gold with a turquoise stone, which is supposed to be a lucky blue stone. It might have been made between 1760 and 1780. I wouldn't have imagined it was anything special if I hadn't actually seen it, but I have. I can tell you, it's incredible to think that Jane Austen actually wore this delicate ring.
And do we know who gave it to her?
Well, we don't know much about how or why Jane Austen received the ring. It could have been from a family member or mysterious admirer, or she may have bought it as a reward after all her writing. If it hadn't been for the papers that document its history in her family, we would really know very little about it at all.
And what happened to the ring? Who bought it? Was it sold for a high price?
Well, the ring hit the headlines when Jane Austen's House Museum failed to buy it at the auction. They lost it to the Texan singer Kelly Clarkson. She collects Austen items, and she paid just over £150,000.
Wow! So she ended up taking the ring to the US, I guess.
No, the story doesn't end there. The UK government stopped her from taking it out of the country and gave the museum the opportunity to buy back this national treasure and save it for the nation.
What did the museum do?
They launched a Bring the Ring Home campaign, and donations poured in from around the world. Incredibly, there was an anonymous donation for most of the money, and they managed to buy it back. But Kelly Clarkson said she was happy to know that so many Jane Austen fans would get to see the beautiful national treasure at the museum.
That was very generous of her. It's good to know that this delightful ring, which once belonged to one of England's greatest novelists, has stayed in Britain.
I agree. And if it hadn't been for this story, the ring wouldn't have become so famous.
A wonderful piece of history with a great modern story. Thanks very much, Sam, for being with us today and sharing.
Unit 9. Developing Speaking. Exercises 1 and 2.
This photo shows a teenage girl standing in the middle of the picture. In front of her, I can see some students sitting at their desks, listening to her. They are sitting on chairs. One of the students has a pencil case and notebook on her desk, and another boy has some paper. In the background, there is a whiteboard. I think it must be a class assignment because it looks like a classroom. The girl is wearing casual clothes, a shirt, a t-shirt, and a pair of jeans. She is holding a book and smiling. She seems happy. I'm not sure, but it might be her turn to speak in a class presentation or debate. Perhaps another student spoke before her. Maybe another student will get up to speak in a minute. The girl could be telling her class about something she has prepared for homework. I imagine what the speaker is saying is very interesting. I can see that the students are listening carefully. It looks like some are taking notes. She might be giving her opinion in a classroom debate. When I look at this photo, it reminds me of a similar experience I had to the one shown in this photo. At my school, we often give presentations and have debates. Last week, I gave a presentation on climate change and what our school can do to help. And then we had a debate on how we should protect the environment. It was very lively.
Unit 9. Developing Speaking. Exercise 3.
This photo shows a teenage girl standing in the middle of the picture. In front of her, I can see some students sitting at their desks, listening to her. They are sitting on chairs. One of the students has a pencil case and notebook on her desk, and another boy has some paper. In the background, there is a whiteboard. I think it must be a class assignment because it looks like a classroom. The girl is wearing casual clothes, a shirt, a t-shirt, and a pair of jeans. She is holding a book and smiling. She seems happy. I'm not sure, but it might be her turn to speak in a class presentation or debate. Perhaps another student spoke before her. Maybe another student will get up to speak in a minute. The girl could be telling her class about something she has prepared for homework. I imagine what the speaker is saying is very interesting.
Unit 9. Developing Speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 4.
Noun. Answer. Verb. Answer. Noun. Balance. Verb. Balance. Noun. Research. Verb. Research. Noun. Contrast. Verb. Contrast. Noun. Increase. Verb. Increase. Noun. Upgrade. Verb. Upgrade. Noun. Permit. Verb. Permit. Noun. Refund. Verb. Refund. Noun. Reject. Verb. Reject.
Unit 9. Developing Speaking. Exercise 5. 1,
Reject.
2,
Increase.
3,
Contrast.
4,
Upgrade.
5,
Research.
6.
Refund.
Unit 10. Reading. Rethinking packaging. A. How big a problem is packaging waste?
Plastic packaging accounts for almost half of the plastic waste generated globally, according to a UN report in 2018. Everyone, from the public to the retailer and manufacturer, is aware of the challenge to reduce packaging waste and its impact on the environment. But is change on the horizon, or is it already here?
B. Consumer-driven change.
There are signs that consumers' shopping decisions are pushing retail companies to change and to persuade manufacturers to make more eco-friendly packaging choices. More and more retailers are offering bag-free options or alternatives to plastic bags. Helen Bird, from the waste reduction charity WRAP, says most UK supermarkets have committed to eliminating single-use plastics by 2025. Some companies are aiming to sell as many of their products as possible packaging-free. The cosmetics retailer Lush sells around half of its products with no packaging at all.
C. E-commerce giants and sustainable packaging.
Anybody who shops online is aware that each ordered item is individually packed and then protected by more packaging to prevent damage in transit. Are the biggest e-commerce companies doing anything to stop this over-packaging? Amazon have eliminated more than 665,000 tons of packaging materials by using recyclable packaging and selling products in their original boxes. Alibaba, the Chinese e-commerce giant that ships 1 billion packages a day, has set up 75,000 recycling centres to reuse boxes and wrapping material. Dell, the computer company, uses packing materials made from natural and recycled materials.
D. Can a new shopping system make a difference?
A revolution in how items are delivered could also be underway. Consider Loop, which provides both a delivery and a pickup service. Brand products are sold in refillable and reusable packaging, glass, stainless steel, or durable plastic, and delivered in reusable shipping bags. Once the products are consumed, the packaging is picked up and transported to a regional cleaning facility, where the containers are cleaned and products recycled. Will this system finally change consumers' habits regarding single-use plastics?
E. A no-waste revolution at a local level.
Zero-waste shops are also springing up in high streets across Europe. It's a return to the old days, when grocers served products from large containers, but with a modern look and feel. Customers fill their own bottles with cleaning materials and serve themselves dried foods. Shop owners buy in bulk from eco-friendly enterprises, which supply products in recyclable plastic packaging.
F. Can consumer decisions be damaging for the environment?
Consumer choice is undoubtedly making the way we shop greener, but nothing is as simple as it seems. Susan Selker, director of the School of Packaging at Michigan State University, points out that making glass uses more fossil fuels than plastic. Glass is also heavier, so it's more polluting to transport. Paper bags also have higher carbon emissions than plastic bags and are more difficult to reuse. We need to focus on finding solutions which work in the long run, and we need to find them quickly.
Unit 10. Developing vocabulary and listening. Exercises 3 and 4. Conversation 1.
Hi, Emir. Wow, they're cool sunglasses. Are they new? They look expensive.
Thanks. They were a bit expensive, but I waited until they were in the sales and the price had dropped a bit.
I don't know how you do it. I never seem to have enough money to buy anything, even in the sales.
Well, I've been saving for a year, Adam. Money doesn't grow on trees, as my dad likes to say. Every month, I put some of the allowance from my parents and any money I get from my relatives as gifts into a savings account.
Lucky you. If only I had relatives like yours. Mine don't give me anything.
Well, mine don't give me much, but it helps. I also put in a bit from what I earn from my Saturday job.
I wish I'd been doing that.
Well, I wish I'd done it earlier, that's for sure. Dad kept telling me I was wasting my money and I should be more responsible. When I opened the account, it was difficult living on less money, but now I really appreciate it.
I think I might do the same next month.
Yeah, I would. Hey, Adam, can you lend me a £5 till Wednesday? I put all my money in my account and now I don't have any cash.
Seriously? I hope you're joking.
Conversation 2.
Ooh, I wish I had enough for that gorgeous bag.
Yeah, and I wish you'd stop looking at that blog.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just so... Well, it's just so beautiful and classy.
You're obsessed with brand names, Lizzie. You're brand crazy. It's only because your favourite influencer has one, isn't it? Whatever happened to being an individual and doing your own thing?
But she's so cool. I'm sure it's really well made and high quality too.
Are you sure about that? Anyway, you've already spent all your money on those fancy trainers and a luxury watch.
I know. But I could ask my sister. I'm sure she'd lend me some until the end of the month.
Whoa, just hold on a minute. That influencer is getting paid to carry that bag. She's getting paid to promote that bag, and her followers, one after another, are going to go out and buy it. Remember, that bag's going to go out of style in exactly 5 minutes if it doesn't fall apart first.
Sorry, what were you saying? I wasn't listening. Look, Susie, she's just posted again. Now that's a really nice bag. Maybe I should get that one, not the other one. What do you think?
I give up.
Conversation 3.
What are you doing this weekend, Ralph? Do you want to come shopping with me?
If only. I've got no money left this month.
It doesn't matter. We can go window shopping and browse in the shops. I'll buy you a coffee.
Yeah, okay. I wish I had some money, though. I don't know where it goes. I went out for a meal and to a concert, bought a few clothes and some shoes, and, oh yeah, the cinema. I don't know, all my money just seems to have disappeared.
Well, it sounds like you've had quite a good month so far. What about getting a Saturday job like the rest of us? They're asking for assistants in the supermarket down the road, you know.
Oof, sounds like hard work to me. I can't ask Mum for any more. Last time I asked her, she told me I would just waste it.
Well, she has just bought a new family car. I wish I had a mum like yours.
There, that's it, you see. She's got enough to buy a brand new car, but what about me? If only she'd stop spending money and think about me and my social life.
Well, you seemed quite happy driving it the other day. You can't have it all, you know.
Conversation 4.
Hey, Nat, have you ever stopped for a moment to think about why we want to own things?
Oh no, here we go again. Is it time for our weekly philosophy class, Tracy?
No, but seriously, Nat, think. Why do I want to buy a car when I can rent one without any of the stress associated with owning it? Why should I own a house if I don't know how long I'm going to stay in any one place?
Well, if you have a house and a car, that means you've got a great job and you're successful, right?
Nat, the world is changing. That's what success looked like 20 years ago. Why spend time earning money to buy material things when you can be free to travel and have wonderful experiences?
Well, the freedom and travel sounds good, but I don't know. Call me traditional, I guess.
Okay, you try it your way and I'll try it mine.
Yeah, sure. That way you get the best of both worlds. You get all the big life experiences and I pick you up at the airport so you can stay in my house between trips.
Unit 10. Developing Speaking. Exercises 1 and 2.
Can I help you, or are you just looking? I was wondering if these are in the sale.
All of these on this shelf are half price. Do you have a particular colour or style in mind?
Well, I've got a party this weekend and I'm looking for some sandals to match the blue dress I have here.
How about this pair?
Yes, I like them, but that heel is way too high for me.
How about these?
They're nice. Have you got them in a size 4?
Yes, but the smaller sizes aren't in the sale, I'm afraid. Would you still like to try them on?
Yes. How much are they?
They're £39. They're really well made and the leather's top quality.
They feel a bit tight. If I change my mind when I get home, could I return them?
Yes, no problem. You could change them for a different size or get a full refund. But remember to bring the receipt.
Okay, I'll take them.
Perfect. So if you'd like to come with me to the till.
Unit 10. Developing Speaking. Exercise 3.
Good morning. Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to make a complaint.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How can I help?
I bought these shoes last week. The heel has broken off on the left shoe, so I'd like to return them.
I am sorry. That's the first time that's happened with this make. How did the heel break?
I took them out of the box, put them on, and the heel came off the first time I tried to walk in them.
Sorry about that. Were they in the sale? I'm afraid we can't replace sale items.
No, these weren't in the sale.
Could you let me see the receipt, please? We can either replace them or give you a refund. Which would you prefer?
Here's my receipt, and here are the shoes. Well, I'd like to try on those shoes over there, but I think those cost less.
That's fine. If those shoes fit, you can just exchange these and we'll give you back the difference in cash.
Thank you. I'll try them on. Do you have them in a size 4?
Let me see if we've got them in stock. Take a seat and I'll go and look for you.
Unit 10. Developing Speaking. Pronunciation. Exercise 4.
Size. My. Another. Funny. Choose. Blue. Maybe. Grey. Middle. Damaged. Bought. Sort.
Exam Trainer. Paper 3. Listening. Listening Part 1. For each question, choose the correct answer. 1. What will the girl bring to the picnic?
Are you coming to the picnic tomorrow? You know we all need to take something.
Yeah. What's the best thing to bring?
Matt said he's bringing loads of salad, so I think we'll be okay for that. What about some cheese sandwiches?
I'm worried they'll get hot when I'm walking there. So I was thinking of something that will stay fresh. Like crisps. What do you think?
I'm sure everyone will love that, and I think you're right about the sandwiches.
Now listen again.
Are you coming to the picnic tomorrow? You know we all need to take something.
Yeah. What's the best thing to bring?
Matt said he's bringing loads of salad, so I think we'll be okay for that. What about some cheese sandwiches?
I'm worried they'll get hot when I'm walking there. So I was thinking of something that will stay fresh. Like crisps. What do you think?
I'm sure everyone will love that, and I think you're right about the sandwiches.
2. Where did the boy find his phone?
Did you find your phone?
Oh, yeah. I was so worried. I was looking everywhere. Normally, it's in my rucksack. Then I usually take it out as soon as I get home to charge it. I was watching TV and I didn't realise it had dropped out of my pocket where I was sitting. I spent ages running round the house and checking my desk and everything else in my room. Now I've got to tidy up.
Now listen again.
Did you find your phone?
Oh, yeah. I was so worried. I was looking everywhere. Normally, it's in my rucksack. Then I usually take it out as soon as I get home to charge it. I was watching TV and I didn't realise it had dropped out of my pocket where I was sitting. I spent ages running round the house and checking my desk and everything else in my room. Now I've got to tidy up.
3. Which film do the family agree to watch?
OK, what are we going to watch tonight?
What's new? Can we see that new monster film? Everyone says it's really good.
Yeah, Dragon Attack. It's on Showflix, but I don't think Dad'll enjoy that. What about Car Chase 3? It looks really exciting. But you prefer comedies, don't you? Wasn't there one you wanted to watch?
Yeah, but I'm happy to watch that on my own. It's family time tonight. So let's go with your choice.
Now listen again.
OK, what are we going to watch tonight?
What's new? Can we see that new monster film? Everyone says it's really good.
Yeah, Dragon Attack. It's on Showflix, but I don't think Dad'll enjoy that. What about Car Chase 3? It looks really exciting. But you prefer comedies, don't you? Wasn't there one you wanted to watch?
Yeah, but I'm happy to watch that on my own. It's family time tonight. So let's go with your choice.
Exam Trainer, Paper 3. Listening. Listening Part 2. For each question, choose the correct answer. 1. You will hear two friends talking about a new club they have been to.
So, what did you think of the club?
Great! We had a really good time, didn't we?
Yes, there were so many things to do.
Actually, I found that a bit confusing. I couldn't decide what to do. But what I really liked was that so many of our classmates were there. It was so friendly. And the club organisers have got a lot of trips planned, haven't they? They're going to be fun, I think.
Yes, I'm looking forward to those. I think they'll be really good.
Now listen again.
So, what did you think of the club?
Great! We had a really good time, didn't we?
Yes, there were so many things to do.
Actually, I found that a bit confusing. I couldn't decide what to do. But what I really liked was that so many of our classmates were there. It was so friendly. And the club organisers have got a lot of trips planned, haven't they? They're going to be fun, I think.
Yes, I'm looking forward to those. I think they'll be really good.
2. You will hear two friends talking about a basketball game.
Well, that was a good match.
Yeah, but I'm sorry my team lost.
Yes, but at least they were playing well. That's the most important thing.
I guess so.
I can't believe we saw Rob D play. It was amazing. He's such a good player. I've wanted to see him for ages.
And the atmosphere in the stadium was fantastic. There were so many people there. Wasn't it noisy? Everyone was shouting and clapping so much.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. The crowd was so lively. It made it a lot of fun.
Now listen again.
Well, that was a good match.
Yeah, but I'm sorry my team lost.
Yes, but at least they were playing well. That's the most important thing.
I guess so.
I can't believe we saw Rob D play. It was amazing. He's such a good player. I've wanted to see him for ages.
And the atmosphere in the stadium was fantastic. There were so many people there. Wasn't it noisy? Everyone was shouting and clapping so much.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. The crowd was so lively. It made it a lot of fun.
3. You will hear two friends talking about a school project.
How are you getting on with that school project on your family history?
Not very well. I've spoken to my grandparents, but I'm not sure I asked the right questions. I need to know more about what the village was like in the past.
Have you checked the information in the library?
Yeah, but I still haven't got very much.
Why don't you try looking for some pictures from that time? Then you could write about what things looked like.
Oh, yes. I'll go back to the library and check again, and I'll search online.
Now listen again.
How are you getting on with that school project on your family history?
Not very well. I've spoken to my grandparents, but I'm not sure I asked the right questions. I need to know more about what the village was like in the past.
Have you checked the information in the library?
Yeah, but I still haven't got very much.
Why don't you try looking for some pictures from that time? Then you could write about what things looked like.
Oh, yes. I'll go back to the library and check again, and I'll search online.
Exam Trainer. Paper 3. Listening. Listening, Part 3. For each question, write the correct answer in the gap. Write 1 or 2 words, or a number, or a date, or a time. You will hear someone telling students about the city she lives in.
Hi. Thanks for asking me to talk to you all today. I live in Edinburgh, in Scotland, and I want to tell you what a great city it is, and to recommend that you visit it. Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland. It's in the east of the country, close to the North Sea coast. It has many beautiful historic buildings, such as the famous castle, which is right in the centre of the city. It's also a very lively place, hosting lots of events that are great fun. There's an annual arts and culture festival, which attracts people from all round the world. You can go to a lot of interesting theatre and music events. Edinburgh also has many interesting museums with exhibitions on Scottish culture. These are definitely worth a visit while you're here. And the shopping is fantastic. Let me show you some photos of the city.
Now listen again.
Hi. Thanks for asking me to talk to you all today. I live in Edinburgh, in Scotland, and I want to tell you what a great city it is, and to recommend that you visit it. Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland. It's in the east of the country, close to the North Sea coast. It has many beautiful historic buildings, such as the famous castle, which is right in the centre of the city. It's also a very lively place, hosting lots of events that are great fun. There's an annual arts and culture festival, which attracts people from all round the world. You can go to a lot of interesting theatre and music events. Edinburgh also has many interesting museums with exhibitions on Scottish culture. These are definitely worth a visit while you're here. And the shopping is fantastic. Let me show you some photos of the city.
Exam Trainer. Paper 3. Listening. Listening, Part 4. For each question, choose the correct answer. You will hear an interview with a girl called Indira about a new kind of shop.
Hi, Indira. You're only 15, but you've just opened a new kind of shop, haven't you?
That's right.
Tell us more about it. Why did you start a shop?
Well, I love art, and I'm especially interested in fashion. We all like to have new clothes, don't we? But like many other people, I realise it's not good just to keep buying more and more things. It's bad for the planet. So, in order to help us buy fewer clothes, I decided to set up a swap shop. The way it works is that you bring something in, an item of clothing, to give to the shop, and you can take something away. You don't buy, you swap. So it saves you money as well.
It's a great idea.
Thank you. My friends all love it.
Why do you think you got so many customers?
Well, it started in school. I used to try doing this when we had school fairs and things. Then, because the idea was so popular, I wanted to make it bigger. My parents have a shop, and they let me have a room at the back to use. My shop has become a bit of a meeting place for everyone. I think the main thing is people can always find something they haven't seen before. That seems to be more important than the money.
What are your future plans?
Well, we've already got an app up and going, and it's especially popular for things like sports clothes. So it makes sense now to see if we should set up shops outside our local area. I'm working with my parents on that.
Now listen again.
Hi, Indira. You're only 15, but you've just opened a new kind of shop, haven't you?
That's right.
Tell us more about it. Why did you start a shop?
Well, I love art, and I'm especially interested in fashion. We all like to have new clothes, don't we? But like many other people, I realise it's not good just to keep buying more and more things. It's bad for the planet. So, in order to help us buy fewer clothes, I decided to set up a swap shop. The way it works is that you bring something in, an item of clothing, to give to the shop, and you can take something away. You don't buy, you swap. So it saves you money as well.
It's a great idea.
Thank you. My friends all love it.
Why do you think you got so many customers?
Well, it started in school. I used to try doing this when we had school fairs and things. Then, because the idea was so popular, I wanted to make it bigger. My parents have a shop, and they let me have a room at the back to use. My shop has become a bit of a meeting place for everyone. I think the main thing is people can always find something they haven't seen before. That seems to be more important than the money.
What are your future plans?
Well, we've already got an app up and going, and it's especially popular for things like sports clothes. So it makes sense now to see if we should set up shops outside our local area. I'm working with my parents on that.
Exam Trainer, Paper 4. Speaking. Speaking Part 1. 1.
What's your name? Where do you live?
2.
Do you work or are you a student?
3.
What do you study?
4.
What food do you like eating?
5.
Do you live in a house or an apartment?
6.
Tell us about what you enjoy doing with your family.
7.
Where would you like to go for your next holiday?
8.
What do you like doing at weekends?
9.
Do you enjoy studying English?
10.
Tell us about one of your friends.
11.
How do you get to school?